Hey everyone, and welcome back to Planet Coaster 2 and the Hanseatic Dreamland, our main project on the channel. And this is gonna be a very exciting episode. We are actually going to add a full area of Flatrides and some cool stuff into our wonderful project. We also got a blueprint from the wonderful Fog, who gave me this wonderful crane over here that is one of the new additions to our mainland, so to say, so the environment. More about that in the real-time part, because I've actually quite some additions. But before that, quick note to Instant Gaming, the channel sponsor. Today, very important, because on Instant Gaming you can, as you know by now, get very much value for your games. They are a lot more on discount, they have a great customer support. You can basically get DLCs, full games, you can pre-order, or you can get in-game or currencies for your different platforms. But this time around, it's Black Friday, as everywhere, but you get 90% off on a lot of games. So make sure to check the link in the description, get them, and make sure to benefit from these offers. They are really great. So, with that said, let's get into building today. You can see I'm building a little bit of a railroad over here and putting some trees in. As this first part of the video is labeled the new area, I do approach this video a bit differently today, so because I did quite a lot, more than what is in this episode. Actually the next episode is already recorded as well. There's so much going on that I try to structure it. So the first thing I always do is I give an area a bit of context. As you can see over here, I put first of all the two Flatrides in, and I put a couple of containers and other kind of stuff like planter areas and so on to get a basic idea of what I want to have in this area. You can see this is also why I put the background cranes in. I made sure that there is a bit of concrete layer down. This project is so different from everything else I've done so far, and the main reason why this is so different is that we're working with a huge flat area that somehow comes already with its own constraints. And in order to add a lot of detail and interesting vistas and stuff like that, we have to overcome the issue of not having too many natural, environmental things that will make things more, engaging anyways. Like, for example, we don't have natural heights or inclines or something like that. Always making different height elevations makes your whole project so much more interesting. We naturally don't have it that much in here, and I don't want to just create them for the sake of creating them, because it's just not really what it would be, and also because of the area we are in. We will have certain height elevations in here, we will have some terrace areas, we will have some elevated other stuff, but in order to overcome this issue here, I plan the area just as I did, by putting certain things in. Now, the next thing we are doing is still kind of the planning phase, because I'm doing my first ever design for a Flatride in this game, by the way, so that's the first over here. So the idea about this Flatride was mainly that this is partially a crane design. Now, it just makes sense for this area, okay? So we are in the harbor area, and these Flatrides both will be styled after a crane. The drop tower will not be done fully for this episode, just because I have so many other things to do. The next episode will be very interesting, because we will, actually you'll see a couple of these things already as a little hidden thing in a sneak peek, I want to call it, in the real-time part. But I have certain ideas in mind that need some more time to be fleshed out. Also, I was, struggling a bit with some of the pieces and event triggers and stuff, so yeah, well, you'll see that. Now, as you can see over here, what I did is I made sure that this whole construction looks as if it fits in here, but at the same time, I wanted to keep it relatively simple. The reason for that is I want to make sure that this Flatride still appears as if this is a proper, Flatride that has been built here. Not temporarily, but more like not as in an actual theme park, but it has to be retrofitted into this area. So this is why I didn't want to make it awfully detailed and a little bit over-exaggerated. So it is implied being a crane kind of thing, but in a theme park vibe, if you get what I mean. It's just having this crane look and feel with the rusty colors and having all these elements here, but it is meant to be a theme park element, a very fake, intentional fake. But then I figured, okay, that's done. Now we need to add the context of the area. So phase one always for me is planning around, making sure that I have certain things in place, and the theming of the Flatride actually was important for me. And then I went back to our was that, 3rd or 4th episode, I don't remember which one it was, and I was checking some of your comments of the wonderful brand names you came up with for some of our containers. So I just did that over here. So iSoda was a suggestion from the text, from the chat, and things like that I do need. So if you guys watched until this point in the video, for those who are skipping to here, hello, welcome you skippity skippers. But for all those who listened to this point in time, I hope you also enjoyed the video and liked it, because you certainly overcame 80% of all the other people, and you're now in the core people. So for those, make sure to comment down below with your ideas, your brand names, your weird ideas for the project. You see, I will consider them and take them into account for the build. The members will also have their own part at the end of the video, just as at the end of the time lapse, I should say. But there were some really cool ideas in here for the Wicked construction, for example. And people were also saying we could use the in-game brands as manufacturers, which I will do. But as we do know now what the December update looks like and all the different new construction pieces for the supports, I will wait for those, because I want to give them all kind of a, you know, different vibe. Also, I love this one over here, the Transylvania, as like a spooky one. I didn't want to make it fully spooky, but I felt like I make like a little nudge to that as like a Dracula face with 2 teeth sticking out. It almost looks like a fake Tesla logo looking at it right now, but never mind. Tesla's leader is kind of a Dracula as well, so whatever. We also had some really cool ideas, and I filled them all in, and I found this very important to fill this area in with so much love and so much detail, just to make sure that this gives us the edge, you know, of what this all is, to give something to look at and make the whole area a bit more personalized. And I also made some blank variants over here of the containers, because I will need them later on in this project. We will need some blank areas. And then I figured, you know what, at this point we have to make these cranes over here that exist for a while now, but we have to put them onto one of these platforms and make them actually move across the railroad that we had put down in here. I do hope that Frontier is going to tackle the platforms, at least to give us a bit more control over the speed of these animations. I already put that to slow. It still is awfully fast. It just looks a little bit weird. I still have them moving over here because it's better than not, but I am not particularly happy with the speed. It is a little bit too much going on for my liking. I mean, sure, you can use the trick of using multiple platforms to counter them. So if you use the fast and the slow one and make them go into opposite directions, you can create an even slower kind of movement, or you can actually have it go forth and back with the slow, because I feel like the back one is slightly less fast than the other one. But you know, I think all these trickery, it just doesn't need to be, you know. That's something that the game needs to be solving, and we don't need to come up with these weird ways of doing it. Speaking of weird ways of doing it, I was also, you know, the topspin actually became the most interesting to look at in this area, and I wanted to style the freefall tower as well, but I thought the freefall tower is definitely getting the bit of a cooler queue area. So I opened up 2 of the containers over here to become actual queue areas, and also to provide a bit of shelter for the rainy bits, you know. Whenever you queue up for that one, you are happy to be in queue up there, or in the other container, you know, also to prevent from some sun problems and give some shade. You know, take it or leave it. I just wanted to have like a bit more of an interesting queue over here, rather than just a flat one on the ground. As you can see, as always, cleaning up the pathway a little bit, and then just painting over in preparation for getting rid of the Planko logo with the next update. So then the path will look actually pretty damn cool, and also putting some additional supports in, because obviously we don't have supports in there anymore. And then I did the exact same with the queue area for our topspin as well, making sure that, you know, the pathway is cleaned up. At this point I became already pretty convenient with, or like it just like turns out to be a bit easier to make these kind of nice kettle pens over here. Once you get the hang of the pathing, thanks to Taggy's wonderful tutorials, it's pretty simple. Speaking of simple, at this point I was also like, you know, we also need like a little bit of a simple canopy over here, or like a simple roof area above the kettle pen for the topspin, so that people don't need to stand in the rainy weather. Like, we are in a Hamburg harbor area. Weather will be, for a big portion of the year, not the nicest, you know. There's a bigger chance of not having the nicest weather. And also, as it appears to be in Germany right now, either you have this like I don't know, 2/3 of the year being kind of autumn or spring, whatever you want to call it, but I want to call it more autumn because it's more like than it is nicely spring. And then you've got like light rain, rain, heavy rain, whatever, wind, lots of wind. And if not, you have like burning hot summer, okay? There's nothing in between anymore. So whatever we have, we need shelter. So that's that. Speaking of, by the way, sounding weird or so, my voice still sounds weird. I know, I'm gonna excuse myself for that every single time. But the thing is, I don't know why I'm having that for like 3 weeks straight now. It's not going away. It's weird. So sorry for still sounding nosy. Eventually that's gonna go away. But as a daddy, I think the winter month we can, for now on, get used to a new Rudi voice anyways. Then there's another thing, and I gave this whole build here a full category because that was potentially the biggest portion of what I've been doing in the last days. Now, this is a kiosk. Nothing else, nothing more, nothing less, I should say, because it turned out very beautiful. Honestly, I think that's my cleanest and nicest build so far. I'm gonna, if I remember, I'm gonna put that obviously on the workshop so you guys can enjoy that as well. Building this, unfortunately, it revealed another couple of issues that the game has at the moment. As much as I love these little counters and that we got them in this game too, I love that, but people just still completely run through them. We don't have any kind of potential barrier mechanism with these things, and normally that shouldn't be a problem because like when you build the kiosk you could then delete the ground underneath it, but the problem is if you don't have any ground over there you won't be able to put a staff member in because these facilities require path access now. You can't put them beside the path as you was able to in Planet Zoo, for example. And so at this point I just needed to keep the path below, and when it's done at the end, it looks fantastic, but still guests are completely glitching through the build. I really would love that Frontier is going to tackle that a bit again. These counters should definitely have a bit of a bigger hitbox. It's hilarious though. We are speaking about the hitbox 99% of the time. We are complaining about it being too big and too annoying. But this 1% of the time where it is required to make the game function a bit better and look more realistic, it's not. It's whatever it is, okay? But yeah, you can see, as always, I'm using the pillar method to rotate pieces. In case you have no idea what I'm doing, here's a little explanation of the trick. So there are two pieces in the game, these two pillars that use the center point of a grid joint, I should say. So all other grid pieces are to the edges of the grid, but the two pillars will be exactly in the center point where the grid edges meet. That means you can use that as a focal or rotational point, a center point to rotate pieces around. So you put down the pillar and then you'll start building from over there in either side-based things or, you know, the easiest thing if you do rotational stuff or like round stuff, the easiest thing to describe is like with cake pieces. Imagine you're building one cake piece and then you're just rotating everything around your cake or pizza, whatever you prefer. That's what I'm doing over here. I'm basically building one slice of pizza that I can then just rotate, and in order to do so I'm building myself an edge of the pizza and rotate it around so I have two edges, and then build the piece in between, and then as you can see over now I'm getting rid of one of the edges because otherwise you'll have that double. And as soon as you're done with that, you can just copy paste this around. First 4 times you will use the grid for it, so duplicate it on the grid in all 4 different dimensions, so to say, or 4 different grid-based areas. And then after you've done that, you can basically select everything, get rid of the center point in the selection, and then copy paste them in the advanced move to fill in the edges. Hope that was more understandable, but I'll do a potential better advanced tutorial on that as soon as I can plan my time a little bit better, because I'll use these couple minutes putting down some fake newspapers over here will give you a bit of a update on my situation. I have no idea literally when this episode is going to be out, because quite literally the baby could come every second now, and I'm also trying to finish this recording to go to bed to be prepared. So if that is the case, I'm not even sure if this video will be out in time for the Black Friday you know, instant gaming stuff. So maybe you don't have seen any instant gaming stuff at the beginning and you know that this has been later, or if I'll be able to get it out in time for the weekend, you'll see it there. But after that, it's gonna be a bit of a random thing, a bit of a roulette thing whenever, you know, you never know how birth is gonna work, you never know how the first days are. I may vanish for a week or two, I may vanish for a month, I may vanish only for a couple days. Whoever knows, but just so you are aware, it's getting serious now. And, you know, maybe this video is out when I'm back already, I don't know. But then I'll give you a note on the video. Anyway, step 4, the member appreciation part. And as promised, every new member between the episodes will then be added to some of the containers. I haven't shown that in the last episode, so here you go. Most of the people have been added in the meantime, but this is a huge list of people being added. So thank you for every single one of you who joined the party. And if you want to support the channel a bit more than already doing by watching, liking, and subscribing to the channel, you can do so by becoming a member. I've got different member tiers. All of the tiers receive the same stuff. Basically, you get some emotes, and eventually, if I remember, I will put some sneak peeks in Discord. But I see that as a, you know, option to, you know, support a bit more, and I don't want to have any separation between different tiers or so. Well, the lowest already gives you access to become a part of our container area, I guess. Anyways, let's move over to the real-time part. We are starting our tour again at the beginning, or at the entrance area of the park, because so we have a little glance towards the members area that I've just, you know, started or ended the time-lapse on. You can see there's a lot of stuff going on here. It's gonna be even bigger, so thank you all for the support. As always, this is our vista into the park. You can see a couple of little things here and there, but I'm gonna avoid looking too much on them, because that's gonna be part of next episode. So I'm gonna just go around the corner here. This is one of my lantern designs, by the way, I've done last time around. And you will notice that there is a huge change of the layout of our coaster. More about that in the next episode. I have heard you guys, I've heard all the criticism, I've heard all the feedback on that one, so I did change a couple of things, so be warned that this is gonna be part of the next episode. By the way, this is just my floor stuff, to have some cutouts and stuff to just copy them. I'll be talking about that in the next video as well, just to give you an idea. But yeah, I'm starting to love this area here. Oh my god, something broke down over here. That is just fuming. Okay, not so dramatic for the moment. That's gonna be fixed hopefully. There you can see, by the way, the cranes moving in the background. Really love that. There's the other one moving. I do want to make one of Fog's cranes also moving, but it's a little bit more complicated because, you know, Fog is like me, just scaled up in terms of using too many pieces. He's literally crazy. This one is not even possible to be put in one blueprint anymore, so that's just ridiculous. But it's, you know, it is what it is. Really nice. But this one over here is fantastic. This is the kiosk, and as I said, I am very proud of it. I think it's looking very clean. The only thing I'm not very happy about is the newspapers themselves. I do hope that we get a bit more smaller displays or billboards that we can put our own kind of custom stuff on. Then I will redo this with our own fancy Discord shenanigans. We can then go crazy with some funny stuff and little, I don't know, little things just in here. And also these counters, I would need to just hide away these things. As you can see, the person is not standing perfectly centered, which I would need to change the window, which I will do eventually, but for the moment I'm gonna keep it the way it is, simply because I like the simplicity of that one and being all centered. There is a bit of a work I need to put into, but other than that, I'm just like very happy. Do I have the torchlight? No, it's not. What was that? There's a weird reflection going on here with the bouncy light. Where's that coming from? Hey, is that a mistake though? Like, okay, well, that is confusing. Anyways, this is now our area. You can see there are a couple more planters in. I did off screen because that just like tedious work. There's our push train going through, and then this is the area. You can see there is our spinny spin. Isn't that one open, by the way? I'm very confused to why no one is on there. Oh no, people are starting to queue again, I believe. Are they actually going into the queue? Oh no, they're not. Let me just quickly check if this thing is opened, because potentially it's not. I don't know. Let's see if we can have a little look. Whoops, didn't mean to do that. Didn't want to spoil too much. Oh, it is open. Is this still having money? No, it's not. Okay, this is very odd indeed. Let's jump back down. Never mind then. So no one wants to go onto that one. Maybe it's too fancy. But yeah, I really like how it looks. Here you can see how it works together. The two color scopes are reminiscent of some of the larger cranes I also built Maybe you can see some all the way in the background. You can see them. And in a second, I'm going to show you one of these. Also part of the next episode. It's going to be very cool. And here you can see this whole thing. Some near miss elements on top. This is kind of what you usually don't have. But I really like this. How it looks. And just very clean, very nice. And then we have our drop tower here in the back. Again, it'll be connected with some more theming. But I also find it already pretty fitting. As I said, this is our queue area over here. This is where we have the queue area for the other one. A very simple one, you know, just a simple roof. And then we also have like a little station for, you know, vending machines, just kind of planter next to it. Nothing in particular crazy, as I said. There you can see one of the bigger crane thingies, also with some moving stuff in there. Really happy with how that turned out. Really happy also how that looks over here. Just in general, I think the whole area turned out pretty damn nice. Just clean, easy. We gotta need to add a couple of more, yeah, just clutter. I think that's what it still needs, you know, but that's gonna be a later job for me to do. Some more benches, some more bins, like these little things will be added. You can see I started this already at this area with some like little things like this pillar. But it's so hard to do with all the barriers and curbs, so that is why I'm a bit more hesitant. But yeah, this is how the area looks from the guest perspective, and this is how the area looks from above or out of the play perspective, however you want to call this. I am beyond happy. Here again you can see the kiosk, how clean the roof also looks. Just I really like that. And the next episode is going to be, as I said, they're going to be very exciting. We are bringing together, I'm just going to zoom out so you can't really see that much of what I changed in detail, but we're going to bring in together this area. You can see all of these cranes and stuff. So yeah, I did work a lot on that so that the whole context of this project is going to be better. Oh, there's so much I want to show you already, but you know, just wait for it patiently for the next one. Subscribe to the channel, make sure that you follow along. But just like this, look, this is the kind of area which sells the idea of the whole project the most. Like, you'll see a lot more of these like kind of almost canyon-like fields in this project. These are also not our tallest buildings yet, so it's gonna be very cool. I can't wait to do more and realize some of the ideas I still have in mind. I'm still very happy with the choice of this project. I still think it feels unique, and I can't wait to show you more. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this just as much as I did. If you did, ensure to like the video as always, subscribe, blah blah blah, you know the drill. I want to see you in the next one, so make sure to tune in for the next video again. And also, if you need any game discount or anything, make sure to check out the Black Friday deals in case the video is released when that still is on. Checky the linky in the description-y. Okay, putting an eye on everything. Have a good one, guys. Thank you and goodbye.